Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do I sign this order now? I'm going to sign this executive order right now, okay?
Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf today with a pitch to give some Pennsylvania residents a little extra cash at a time when they're paying extra for essentials.
People need help right now, and we can afford to do this as a Commonwealth right now.
Wolf and Democrats are making another run at a plan to send households making up to $80,000 checks of up to $2,000. Joining them today, a Fulcroft resident feeling a financial squeeze as she raises 2 great-grandchildren.
It comes to what do I pay this month and what can we do without?
She says the money would help, but not all consumers say it's the way to go.
What do you think would help at this point?
Sending out checks anymore is going to help with inflation. I think that's why we're in the problem we are in the first place.
The federal government sent stimulus checks during the pandemic, and since then, some states, including Delaware, have delivered their own payments. In Pennsylvania, Republicans who control the legislature are not backing Wolf's idea. A spokesman for the Republican House caucus said Wolf's proposal, quote, lacks both sincerity and common sense. And he said, quote, it is over-stimulus with these very ideas that is contributing to the inflation issues the governor says he is trying to alleviate with his plan to send checks directly to Pennsylvanians. I asked a professor with the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School about the idea some states are trying.
What impact do those programs have on inflation and the broader economy?
So they certainly don't reduce inflation. If anything, they will actually help support more inflation by giving people more consumer purchasing power.
Professor Kent Smetters points out the intention, though, is to get money to families hurt by prices going up more than wages. It comes as federal lawmakers are also debating the best way to curb rising prices and blunt the pain of them. Back in Pennsylvania.
What's your response to concerns that putting more money into the economy might make inflation worse?
Yeah, there's a war on in Ukraine. There are a lot of disruptions right now, and the thing is that as a number of people said, people in Pennsylvania right here are hurting.
Governor Wolf called the $2,000 direct payments a drop in the bucket in the larger economy.
I don't think that would have much of an inflationary impact. What it would do is help people pay their bills.
U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has defended her high-profile visit to Taiwan earlier this week, claiming it was never intended to change the regional status quo, but rather to preserve peace in the Taiwan Strait. Speaking at a news conference in Tokyo on Friday, Pelosi addressed the Chinese military drills and missiles which went off around the island in the wake of her unannounced but highly anticipated visit. She further vowed not to isolate the self-ruled island claimed by Beijing.
They may try to keep Taiwan from visiting or participating in other places, but they will not isolate Taiwan by preventing us to travel there. We've had high-level visits, senators in the spring, a bipartisan way, continuing visits, and we will not allow them to isolate Taiwan.
Pay the rent or take care of the cat. Weekly groceries or the dog goes to the vet. The choices some pet owners say they're facing now. According to the pet care website Rover, 91% of owners say they're spending more on their pets than they were just 6 months ago. And as CNBC's Andrea Day reports, in some cases, people have no other option but to give up their furry loved ones.
She's been a big part of my life her entire life.
Lisa Spillman can't even imagine life without her dog Rosebud. But she says her household expenses were getting tough to handle.
Everything, rent, groceries, dog food, it's all going up really high.
And after her rent skyrocketed nearly 40%, Lisa says she was forced to move. Her only option? A place that wouldn't take dogs.
Losing my baby who loves me so much hurt very much.
In the last year, we've seen surrenders due to housing issues like evictions triple from 6% to 18%.
Monica Dangler is director at Pima Animal Care Center in Tucson, Arizona.
It's staggering and it's sad that number of people are having to surrender due to things outside of their control, due to inflation and the rising market costs for housing.
And it's not just here in Arizona, 1,200 miles away in Kansas City, Missouri.
So far in 2022, 40% of the dogs that are coming into the shelter that are relinquished by their owners are having to come in due to housing reasons or financial reasons.
Tori Fugate is with the KC Pet Project in Kansas City, Missouri.
They don't want to give up their pets, but they are coming to us as a last resort because they have no other options.
Like Veronica.
When it came to where I had to choose my kids over our pets.
Her 2 dogs, Oreo and Cookie.
Having a mortgage to pay, all of that stuff, it adds up. And it seems like everything is going up besides, the pay.
And 1,200 miles away in New York City.
We're basically packed with animals right now.
Katie Hansen works for Animal Care Centers of New York City. More than 4,500 pets surrendered so far this year. That's up 22% from the same time last year.
Due to the economy, a lot of people are needing to move to different places. They've lost their job or they can no longer afford the 30% rent increase. So that is one of the biggest reasons that people are having to surrender their animal.
But there is hope. Lisa and Veronica were both able to get their dogs back. Their local shelters have foster care programs that take in dogs while owners get back on their feet.
I'm really very grateful for that.
No one should have to choose between trying to put food on their table and giving up one of their pet fur babies. Guys, we know that inflation has been devastating for millions of people. The stimulus checks was a huge help back in 2021 when people were getting help, getting a direct payment. I know I got help, and I know that with all the credit card debt that we had, my wife losing her job, those checks really elevated us to help make sure that we were taken care of with putting gas in our car and food on the table. And at that time, I did actually have a brand new baby Dalmatian whose name was Raleigh. And I couldn't imagine having to give him up just because everything causing me with inflation to give him to and I'm going to be honest, I would have never given him to a dog pound. I would have figured out some way to make sure that we kept him because he was our first fur baby. I didn't have any kids at the time, and yet I understand how hard that is to when you grow attached. And we actually, when we got into our own place, and this was years ago, he was there with us on our first day, and so we all kind of bonded together as we were learning how to live on our own, how to pay all our bills on our own, and it was a pretty great experience. But what was crazy is I think about 6 months later, that's when COVID hit, and my wife lost her job, and I was working part-time, and it was a hard time. So I get it, I understand, and that's why on this channel we want to do a ton of giveaways because we want to give back to say thank you guys for watching, for all of your comments. I really do appreciate when you take the time to comment and let us know how we're doing or let us know that it helped. It really means a lot to us. So I've done a ton of research. I've done a ton of watching videos, going back and forth, looking for states, and Kentucky's actually offering a $850 relief check. They're proposing it, but still not set in stone. But on this channel, we want to bring you a well-round of news that will kind of update you guys on what's going on and kind of let you know what's happening. So again, back to the petflation. If you're a pet owner, then you definitely understand what it's like to really bond with your pet, and having to choose between taking care of your pet and putting food on the table is something no one should have to deal with. Man, that is devastating. Again, I have a dog, a Dalmatian named Raleigh. Here's a picture of him. Boom. Yeah, he's my dog, and really bonded together, and one of the best dogs I've ever had. And again, he was my first real true dog as an adult that I had, and I would have never took him to no dog pound. And I get it, it was hard, but I would have sewed something to keep him around. But guys, Nancy Pelosi, she went to Taiwan, and yes, many people have said she was on a little vacay on the company's card, right? Company plane. But then some people say she was just trying to keep peace. And of course, China, they wanted to flex and say, hey, you don't need to go over there. There's going to be serious consequences. Well, guess what? So many people said, you need to go because we don't get told where to go. And now, if you look at this video, there is videos of China sending missiles that are flying over Taiwan. Now, listen, there are so many different things to think about and look at here, but this is not a good thing. And the reason it's not a good thing is because several people are having to get ready for pretty much war just because of someone visiting their country, like Nancy Pelosi. It doesn't make any sense. I get it. China wasn't happy that she went, but why don't they come together and say, hey, listen, this wasn't a good thing. I just want you to know that we didn't want this to happen in China. But China should not say, if you go, we're going to punish you. That's not how you handle things. That's a sign of immaturity, because you're putting people's lives at stake because of your pride and the things, however they're thinking. What they should have done is said, hey, Nancy, we would really appreciate it if you didn't do it at this time. It's just not a good time. There's a rule that we have that we're trying to keep the allegiance or whatever. And then Nancy Pelosi, if she was really mature, would have said, I understand and I want to apologize. I never want to do anything to cause, strife or anything. But no, hey, we're going to throw a party. We're going to put it all over the news. And then China's like, we're going to punish you. We're going to show you that you will pay for what you've done. And it's like, these people are leading our country. I know I can't be the only one thinking this. These are the people that we got that are running a huge country that at the snap of their fingers, they could start a war. That just to me doesn't, you know what I'm trying to say, but let me know down in the comments what you think about that. But here was some very exciting news. So everybody's talked about this new inflation bill. In fact, this is like the first time that everybody's really came together, even Joe Manchin, to pass this bill. And what everybody is saying that this would put America, if it's not already in a recession, will throw us into recession. And not only that, but it will raise taxes on all the low-income families. And not only that, but it's going to kill us. Really, it's going to throw America into the worst that we've ever seen time. And I'm thinking, how in the world can they create such a great bill, calling it the new inflation bill, and yet it be so devastating to the people? So here's why I say that. Some people that are high up say it's going to hurt us, destroy us, throw us into recession. It's going to put more taxes on the American people. And the others say, no, it's not. It's going to help. Who do you believe? We don't even know until it happens that when they pass this bill, it's not like you and I get to vote on it and say, hey, look at the fine lines and say, yes, we should or no, we shouldn't. We're literally relying on those in the government and Congress, which that's a bad idea, to say, hey, you determine our future. And that's why it is so critical that you and I as individuals, we're almost on our own. We have to take care of ourselves, because if we're relying on them to take care of us, it just ain't going to happen. Here's a map of the United States that are sending out stimulus checks or that have proposed. Check this out. Now, you see Idaho, New Mexico, California, Hawaii, Georgia, Indiana, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and Maine. Okay, these are the states that if they're green, they're approved. If they're yellow, they're pending. And think about it. How many states on there that are not even proposing anything? So do we really want to rely on the government to say, hey, we're going to take care of you? Because by this map, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Sure, you're going to have some states like Pennsylvania who is trying to help us out. So Pennsylvania, stimulus checks for Pennsylvania, Governor Wolf, PA Democrats continue to push for a $2,000 payment for most Pennsylvanians. And here's the problem, though. They have come into an issue where they're going to say that the first $1.7 billion that's proposed for people who will receive $2,000 checks who are making $80,000 or less. So the good thing is there's no stipulation on filing taxes. It's if you don't make $80,000, you get a $2,000 check. But did you know that they said that the reason they don't want to do this, and the reason it hasn't been done, as you can see on the map, it was yellow, is because it will throw them into such a deficit in their budget for the actual state. And people are saying, we need to put this into a program that will help people rather than just give people money. Look, you don't have to listen. Let's look at the video And that one, I've got 2 videos, so you might want to watch both of them because they're both really informing. So let's take a watch.
Also asked Governor Wolf why he thinks this might go through now when it didn't fly before. Well, he said he thinks that there is a growing awareness that Pennsylvania has the financial capacity to do this.
Governor Wolf says the state is sitting on billions in surplus cash, and he wants part of it returned to some Pennsylvanians in the form of a $2,000 check.
But as political editor John Delano explains, Republicans who control the legislature are not yet on board with the idea.
The governor says individuals and households with combined income of $80,000 or less should get a one-time check for $2,000 because people are hurting and the state has the money.
We have the funds to make this investment in the people of Pennsylvania, and we have that money right now. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is in a very, very strong financial position.
In addition to $5 billion in the rainy day fund, Wolf estimates another $5 to $6 billion surplus in the recently passed budget. His $2,000 check plan would cost about $500 million. But some Republicans worry that a recession is on the way and now is not the time to spend.
We can see down the road, if we spend the way that Governor Wolf has been wanting to spend, we will see a $13 billion deficit in the coming years.
Republican State Senator Camera Bartolotta opposes the $2,000 check idea. Republican State Representative Lori Mizgorski shares the same view, arguing she'd rather see the money put into expanding programs that help people in need.
Instead of just handing out checks to specific people within a certain income guideline, that it would be better to direct additional money into programs.
She cites child care, low-income energy assistance, and property tax rebates as programs for this money. But State Representative Emily Kincaid, a Democrat, says it's better just to return cash to taxpayers, a position Kincaid says Republicans usually take.
Well, now they have the opportunity to literally put taxpayer money where their mouth is to say, okay, let's give taxpayers the opportunity to spend their money rather than the government. And now they don't want to do it.
Since Republicans still control both the state Senate and state House, their support is needed to pass Wolf's proposal. Nobody I spoke to thinks that is likely to happen.
So guys, that information, it tells you a lot about the battle that goes on between people that try to push it, and then there's always some person that's saying, no, we don't need to. And so here's where the issue is. It never gets done. And so people are still struggling. They're still wishing that the check would come in. There are people in this country who are literally living in their car. I mean, is that what's supposed to happen in America? And then yet again, people say, hey, Joe Biden, he's going to fix it, and, we would vote for him again. I'm going to be honest. I've been neutral on this channel, but my opinion of what's going on is due to what's being led in the White House and in Congress and in the Senate. And all I want to say is this wasn't happening the last couple of years. This wasn't happening. So you as a viewer, for you guys that are on a fixed income, for all of our viewers here, you've been here, you've seen things happen in this country. Let us know, did you ever think that we'd be living in a time like this? Did you ever think that things would be happening? And if you would, let us know in the comments. I'd love to see your comments. I love when you guys participate and respond. I get your feedback. So that helps me really understand what I need to bring out in these videos. For example, somebody said, hey, I get it. We know the Social Security dates, but I want to know about stimulus. And that's why we're doing stimulus right now, because that's what you guys want to hear. So let me know down in the comments. But guys, for the most part, there hasn't really been too many states to jump on board just yet. Kentucky is in the mix. They're not really for sure. That's why they're not on the map. But I have read that there's some $850 relief checks that they're trying to send. So guys, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. I know this was a little bit of a long video, but don't forget about the $250 giveaway we're doing on this channel, as well as the $100 Visa gift card giveaway. Guys, you've been amazing. Thank you again for making it this long to the video. If you watched it till the end, then let me know. Give me 2 thumbs up in the comments below. That way I'll know you watched it to the end. Guys, I love you. You're the reason why I do this, because I feel like we've all become family. Guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm John Miro. Peace.